Hi everyone, this is second presentation, and in this video we'll talk about the different types of ICs in different applications, how to use Infopathy, different methods, different devices, etc. But let's start again about what are ICs. Just to remind you, ICs are electromagnetic signals that are generated using algorithms or recorded from substances that have healing, therapeutic, or other biological effects. Currently on Infopathy, we have three types of ICs, of those signals. They're different on how they're created, and they have different primary, so-called the most efficient application methods. For example, imprint ICs, you will see on the website, like every signal has little title. I'll also show it. They would marked what type exactly that IC is. So imprint IC, they are recorded from substances, and the best way of using them is to imprint to water and then drink that water. PEMF ICs. These signals are not recorded from water. They are generated using different algorithms, and the best way of using them is to apply them to the body, directly to the body. Audible ICs, they also created with the help of algorithms, and the best way using them is to listen them with headphones, or even also apply directly to the body, applying the device to the body. Okay, let's talk now about the imprint ICs. And as I talked in the previous presentation, it's possible to transfer the signal from their substance to just pure water using electromagnetic coils, amplifying the signal, and it's possible to get the imprinted water, which will have similar effect to the original substance. And this is just an example of some old devices, technologies, how practitioner would create informational copies of the substances. They would put the original substance here, some actually active biological substance in the first cup, and then they would transfer signal to here where they would place water. And then patient would be drinking water and getting similar effects as they would be getting from the original substance. This is one of the example of more modern devices. Things are developing, and the main idea here is that what we're doing is not new. It's been there for many years. We're pretty much trying to edit like internet and let people just access it more, make it more accessible for people around the world. So how it's done? Have like recording device. Every substance have their unique electromagnetic spectrum and can be captured. But here we're not transferring to some water directly, but we like digitize a signal and storing it in a digital way. This is just part of the device that we use. Is a chamber where we place the substance, usually diluted in the water, not high diluted, but just a solution in the water, and then we record the signal. Here we just, we will also always make a picture of whatever we record, just to store it. And here just showing just pictures of something that I consider to be like beautiful or something bright, because a lot of substances are just white or transparent, but some substances are looking nice in the petri dish. And here's some examples of substances that are already on the platform, like a testosterone, very popular, B-complex, lipoic acid, tamatol, etc. And we'll talk about application, how to use imprint ICs later. And now we're going to the next type of IC, so-called pulsed electromagnetic fields. And this IC, or this type of signals in general, is more traditional and more well-studied because they're used for a very long time. And another reason, because there is no water in all the story with PMFs. Therefore, there is no those questions how it's possible that this signal can be stored and affect the body with water. As we discussed in the previous presentation, there is a lot of those questions still because we don't know exactly how water is stored, for how long, etc., etc. But with pulsed electromagnetic fields, it's pretty straightforward. And what is pulsed electromagnetic field? It's just square wave, electromagnetic field of square wave. So as the icon here. It can be different frequencies, different intensities, etc. Different frequencies would affect different systems, would have different effects. PEMF ICs may be as a set of frequencies. Let's say 1 minute one frequency, another minute is different frequency. And all of this is needed to cause specific effect. And how PMF would work? In general, electromagnetic field can interact with electrons or charged particles. In our body, we have a lot of those in every cell, and everywhere. Pretty much we have a lot of ions or charged particles inside of our body. So we can interact with cells or just tissues, fluids in our body and causing different effects by sending signals of different frequencies. Usually people, when they think about electromagnetic field, they will think about something harmful, when they think about microwave. But those signals are very high frequency. They're high frequency, they also high energy. If microwave, you could place something, it interacts with water molecules, makes them move very fast. That's because they have a lot of energy. And the IC that we use, first of all, they have much lower frequency. And it's up to 20 kilohertz usually right now. And also lower intensity, much lower. So it's not gonna burn or do some damage. It's mostly informational effect. It's not energetic effect, but it's mostly informational effect, starting and affecting cells and make them then do the work in regeneration. So let's say in some way, PMF ICs do not cause healing effect. It makes the body do the healing process or start the healing process. And in general, when you talk about PMF, not only those are located on our platform, but in general, PMF, those pulsed electromagnetic fields, they are well studied. There is more than 10,000 publications, and there is more than 2,000 double-blind studies, and a lot of different health benefits. It can reduce pain and inflammation, improve energy, enhance blood pressure and cholesterol levels, boost sleep quality, enhance immunity, improve nutrient uptake, accelerate repair of bone and soft tissues, enhance muscle function, decrease the effect of stress on the body, and improve blood oxygenation and circulation, and a lot of other things. And they are considered safe and effective. This is also a picture from the NASA's patents of using some PMF device with astronauts. I think when they bring them back to Earth or to train them in the space, because load on the body is lower, like everybody knows, it's bad for astronauts to be in the weightless condition, so they have to stimulate their muscles and bones to stay in good condition. And they using the PMF to cover those effects on the body. And then next one is Audible ICs. They also generated as different algorithms. It can be just different frequencies. It can be so-called brain waves, binaural beats. It's when you use a stereo headphones, and in one ear you can hear one frequency, another one is different frequency, and it creates this special like beating effect inside of your head, and that's supposed to like affect the brain frequency. Like our brain, based on what state it's on, have different frequency, operational frequency. For example, if you stay in the deep sleep, our brain works at very low frequency, from 0.1 to 4 hertz. If we stay in in this state of creativity, meditation, deep relaxation, it's a little bit higher, 4 to 8 hertz. Then like positive thinking, reflection, high frequency, concentration, problem solving, even higher. And if we try to memorize something, high level cognition, thinking, etc., it can be 13 hertz and above. And the approach here, you can cause or try to meditate. For example, you go to this state, but you also can stimulate your brain to go in that state just by applying the frequencies or listening to those frequencies. You kind of moving the brain to that state. And now let's talk about different transfer devices, how actually to use those ICs. Currently, we have 3 different devices available to apply frequencies. One of them is most simplest one, stereo IC pad. Then a bit more advanced with stronger signal emitted. Also, it has modulated lights, and this device is considered to be the best for the imprinted water. And the last device is a vibrational speaker. It's a wireless and wearable device. In the package, you have 3 different bands. You can apply it to the chest, to the hand, to the leg, pretty much to any part of the body. And you can also apply it to the bottle. So it has the small, if you wear, for example, small elastic band, it can just go around the bottle. And so, as we talked about 3 different types of ICs, these first 2 devices, they can be actually 3 devices can be used for imprinting water. So any of the devices can be used to imprint water. But transfer time for imprint ICs will be different because they have different intensity. The first device, it will require at least 12 minutes to imprint up to 750 milliliters of water. With this device, also because higher intensity and modulated lights, it's only 2 minutes needed to imprint up to 2 liters of water. And with this device, it takes 4 minutes to imprint the bottle of water. Then also, all of these devices can be used for PEMF ICs, can be applied. And for Audible ICs, these 2 devices cannot be used because they don't generate acoustic waves. Only this device can be used to use for Audible ICs. But also Audible ICs can be used with just headphones. So pretty much, if you decide to get this device, you can use this device with imprint ICs, PEMF ICs, and for Audible ICs, you can just use headphones. And I just want to note here again that this is a type of device as a vibrational speaker. When you transfer some ICs, it will also make a sound, make a noise all the time because it generates acoustic wave and sound wave and electromagnetic wave. And therefore it always will be kind of make a noise. And so if you're very sensitive to noise, you better consider one of these devices. They are quiet and Yeah, this is, yes, but this device, if you would like to apply PEMF ICs, usually can be long. This one kind of short, just 2 or 4 minutes transfer. And this PEMF IC can be long, can be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour even. So it's maybe more convenient to use this device. You just apply it to the body, you can just walk around with it and have an effect. But also, you can still use these devices. You can just lay down, place device on a specific area, or if it's some general effect, you can just place it on the sternum, like chest or stomach area. Maybe you sit down or lay down, you can just attach it as well to the body. And now let's talk about different methods, because I mentioned we have 3 different type of ICs. So those things should be applied in different or used in different ways. And first method is called imprint once in 3 days. More detailed how to use it, you can always go to the website, infopathy.com, and then go to the help section. There will be step-by-step instructions on how to use this method. But in general, I will just guide you through this. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the Infopathy website. So if you just first time here, you don't have yet account, etc. First thing to do, it would be to create account, register, and also how to get started. You can always come to the help section, go to how to get started, and you can watch short video, like introductory video, how to do that. Also, I would like to mention here that in the whole database of ICs, like now we have almost 1,900 of different ICs and complexes. Some of them available without like any membership, they're free, but most of them will be available with a premium membership. That membership comes with 30 days free trial. You can cancel anytime. And also, if you would like just to try, you can always create the membership. You can go and access all the ICs. Even if you don't have device, you can already use Audible ICs because you only need headphones. So some people start like that. They just go create an account, can get membership if you want to access all Audible ICs. And after that, you can go to catalog and select, so for example, Audible here, just on single frequencies. So this specific IC, you go here, you would select here, you have headphones or speakers. You put your headphones on and you click start transfer. So here we're actually like talking on how to use Audible ICs. Always you will see what is primary application method for this ICs here, or type of IC. Also on each page for each IC, you will have this button says how to use it. You always can click it. So again, mention this is Audible IC, and the best way is to listen, apply to the body. So you connect headphones, you put your headphones or IC hammer. First, you can set audio volume to the comfortable level, in like low level. Then you start transfer, and then you again can adjust the intensity of the signal when you listen to the Audible ICs, so you don't, damage ears or anything. But now let's go again back to the help section and talk about this method number 1. It's regarding the imprint ICs. So for these ICs, you will need to have the IC pad or IC hammer. You can find them on the equipment page and order there. First, you need to sign in, choose IC in the catalog. You can also choose a complex. On the catalog, you can find always complexes created by some practitioners. Complexes marked with this special icon, like this. So you can see this is how complexes market, and this is how single ICs market. And what is complex? Complex is just combination of few ICs. So for example, this one, multiple sclerosis, it contains few ICs in it. So it's like you can combine different like medications, eat them at the same time. Here you can combine different signals and transfer them at the same time to your water. Like once I clicked and opened the page for this complex, you can see what's inside, more details. If I really want to go and learn about each of them, I can click on the name and I go to the page of the specific IC. You can just transfer it by itself. You can go back to this complex and I can transfer all of these included ICs at the same time to the same bottle of water. So after we selected the IC or complex, let me select here device, for example, glowing IC pad. So once I select device, I kind of set the minimum transfer time. So if I would have had, for example, IC hammer, you see that number of repeats is changed. It was 0, now it's 1. I can always change it and increase it. The more repeats you have, the longer transfer time you will set, and the longer imprint should increase the intensity or like strength of the imprint. But usually we recommend just to start from default. So once you select your device, every number of transfers will be preset by default for recommended amount of times for every IC. So let me go back to select glowing IC pad, and let's go back to instructions. So besides just device, you also will need a bottle of water, and you can use just regular drinking mineral water. You can also use, like we recommend to use water that you usually drink. If it's distilled water, you can use it. If you use filtered water, you can use that. And if you use mineral water, like use that water. But note, if you're using distilled or filtered water, you need to drink it right after imprinting, because that water will not hold imprint for the long time. Because it's important for water to have some minerals inside of it to be able to store the imprint. So if you, for example, use the filtered water and you would like to use that water during the day after you imprinted it, you can just add a pinch of salt, Himalayan salt, or sea salt, mineral salt, inside of your water. So after you select the IC or complex, take a glass or plastic bottle or filled with, also recommend to use non-carbonated water that you usually drink. Then you connect the IC pad or IC hammer to your computer. You click Start Transfer. Also, if you use an IC pad, make sure the volume all the way up after you started the transfer. That will make the signal stronger, as strong as possible. And then you need to shake the water for at least 10 seconds. That also makes the water better for imprinting the signal. So once you shook the water, connected the device, place this bottle of water on the IC pad, and then click Start the transfer here. So then you just wait until this time goes down. After it's finished, it will just show it's finished, transfer is complete, and you can start drinking the water. And this method's called 1 in 3 days, because technically you can finish half of the bottle Then you can just add new water here, shake it again for 10 seconds, and again drink the half of the bottle. And you can continue doing this procedure for 3 days. Just keep refilling the bottle of water and just drink it. But after 3 days, you need to repeat the whole procedure from the beginning. You have just new water, you go to the website, you imprint it with the IC pad just again from the beginning. Here on the picture, you can see that it can be done with a glowing IC pad, stereo IC pad, or IC hammer. And on each page, you can see like additional questions, like can transfer IC only to water, what type of water you can use, all these different questions he always can find there. The next methods we can talk about is called method number 2. It's also about imprinting, but it's for imprinting small tinctures. So for this method, it will allow you to create tincture that you can use not during 3 days, but during the 30 days. And you also need IC pad or IC hammer, you need computer or smartphone, small glass bottle. It can be blue, it can be just transparent, it can be brown color, but better to have not completely black bottles. Then you need sea or Himalayan salt and the non-carbonated water. Yeah, by the way, you cannot also use metal bottles. It should be glass, plastic, ceramic, better glass, but not metal. You can technically prepare it in the glass and then pour it into metal if you would like to just kind of protect water after the imprinting. But here we'll be using the glass bottle. And so besides using just water, some people also using oils, juices, alcohol solutions that also can be used to prepare a tincture. Here you can also always come here and read in details. Again, you need just to take a glass of water and 1 teaspoon of sea or Himalayan salt, dissolve it in the glass, dissolve well, then distribute this water into the small tinctures. So you can prepare right away few of these tinctures. So you have IC saline, that's saline water, salty water with mineral salt. And next step, you again just select IC, complex, create your own complex. Then you place this bottle on the IC pad, or you can place IC hammer on it. You do the transfer. And after this is finished, some people even take directly drops in the mouth, but that can be too salty. But also if you imprint in not water, but maybe oil or alcohol solutions, you can just do 10 drops directly into the mouth, hold it there for some time and then swallow. But the original method is to transfer, to put 10 drops of the water inside of the glass, of just glass of water that you usually drink, put it inside, stir it a little bit, and then drink this water. You can always prepare, as I mentioned, for example, 3 different tinctures with 3 different complexes inside. And you can use them one after another. So you have, for example, 3 of them just standing on the kitchen table. You just take 10 drops directly into the mouth or put in the glass of water, drink that. 10 minutes later, you can take another bottle and put it on the table, or put it in your water, also drink the water. 10 minutes later, do same thing with another one. So also you can see frequently asked questions about this method. Also for the best effect, when we're talking about the imprint, these 2 methods about imprinting water and drinking the water, there is some tips that also kind of was found out by the community and by practitioners. So we recommend to take the same IC or complex, the same one, at least 3 times a day, and drinking at least 50 milliliters of water each time. So if I imprinted water with some complex, let's say this multiple sclerosis, I can just drink it during the day. I can just drink whole bottle during the day. Next day I can make just new bottle. It's not necessarily to dilute it, every half of the bottle. It just, if you maybe don't have access to the computer so often, so you can just do this thing with dilution. But I personally imprint just 1 bottle a day, and I just drink it, this complex, during the day. But minimum recommended would be, if you have the bottle of water, or you need to technically, like in the morning, best on the empty stomach, take it minimum 50 milliliters, so like how much it fit in your mouth. Also try to hold water for at least 10 seconds before you swallow it, again, empty stomach. And it's good to have it just during the day. It's not important whether you drink 50 milliliters at once or whole glass. It's more important would be to drink it more frequent, but minimum would be 3 times a day drinking this water. And this is main things. Also, beside those frequently asked questions on each of these pages, now I'm on the help page. This is additional frequently asked questions you can find here. Some people ask questions there. You can also type some question like what temperature water should be. And you can find answers here. And as we also discussed in our first presentation, water shouldn't be hot because it will kind of destroy those coherent domains. So it should be room temperature, or the best it would be below 30 Celsius and about 2 Celsius. You shouldn't also freeze it. Yeah, you can store it in the fridge, but it should not be a freezer. Also, after you imprint the water, it should stay away from especially from the strong electrical appliances like a stove or microwave, fridge. Like fridge, for example, it has like engine on the back somewhere and also wiring on the back. So it's better not to place it on the back wall. It would be the best to place it on the door if your fridge doesn't have those like fancy screens, just like electronics on the door. So it would be the best to place it inside of the fridge on the door, because it will be away from the wirings and everything there, from the engine, which also generates high electric field. And if you put it in the strong electromagnetic field, you can technically erase the imprint. So you need to keep it away from electric devices. Also, like not place it directly on the router or like computer. Later we'll have some like protection bags that you can put inside your bottle of water to shield it from electromagnetic field. Some people, they have metal bottle, so after you imprint it, 1 liter of the water, I can just put it in the like aluminum or stainless steel bottle. That also will help to protect it from the like electromagnetic field. And if you prepare small tinctures, you can also cover it with aluminum foil, but also soon we'll have small little bags for kind of storing those small tinctures. Yeah, so you can see here also how you can store it. Don't put it directly on the sunlight. Whether you can put smoothies, drinks, yogurts, that's also possible. Also going back to the temperature, you can imprint the tea, but tea also should be like room temperature, cold. And here, like additional information. Again, you can search for like different things. And this is in regards to the imprint ICs. One of the things I would like to mention about the complexes, here you can see, you can filter, by the way, if you just click on the complexes. So you will have in the catalog showing only complexes. So we have here like 200 complexes that are created by practitioners. You can just go through them. You can also search for something that you're interested into. Here, just change a little bit the view. Here you can sort. You can be sorted by the name. It can be sorted by the transfers. So if I select by transfers, it's number of transfers. This is 14,000 times. For example, heavy water, the most used complex, was transferred for 14,000 times by different people. If you click most trending, trending, that will show what was most transferred for the last, during the last week. You can still see here it's still was the most popular in the last week. And this one, for example, was, even it doesn't have lots of transfers, but this complex was used a lot during the last week, so it's kind of trending. You can see what people are using now. And you can always also see most recent. Lots of people asking what was recently added, because we're adding it like new ICs sometimes just like every week. Usually we do new recordings even every month, actually. So you can see here what was recently created. It also has this new emblem and tag. You can see here. And also you have these filters on the left. You can, as I mentioned, search something. For example, hard support. You can see results. You can additionally filter by source. And different, so we decided for each IC we provide the source from what type of substance IC was created. It can be allopathy, that's usually the pharmaceuticals, drugs, because some people, even in the form of IC, still it's safe, but still they don't want to use signals from the drugs, so they would like maybe use only for herbs and botanicals. Then we will click on that filter, and we will find that this IC this actual IC actually created from many different things. Let's, for example, check this one. This one, you can also on the page, you can see the source, vitamin, minerals, herbs, and botanicals. So it wasn't recorded from the allopathic medicines. But again, like from my personal view, I don't use like actual drugs, but for me it's okay to use ICs recorded from allopathic medicines. And so this is, you can also go to the testimonials page to read people share their experience. Now they're also able to provide what actual combinations they used. They also can create their own combinations. People can create own combinations. And when they provide feedback, this IC or complex will be made available for other people through the testimonials page. Because usually you cannot just find that complex in the catalog, but when they kind of shared a testimonial for like experience for that specific complex they created, there is a link to it, and somebody who just go to this page, they also would like to try it, they click on it. You can also add it to liked, so you can like it, and once you like, you can, by the way, add it to collection, but also you can then go to your liked page, and then you can just see this complex here. So it's kind of easier a little bit to access. That's complex. You can also organize all your liked ICs and complexes into the collections. You can create collections. its collection you can see as the folders. So if I want to put something like first collection, I want to put there this one complex and two of these ICs. So click submit. So here I can see this collection was created. If I go just to like page, here I can see all liked. If I would like to see only those things, and kind of go inside of the folder. And then later, if you, for example, like this one, click on like, this thing pops up. You can click also add to collection. Just come for some time, add to collection, and you just can add it there. Just a little tip how to use it. Also, you can see a history of what you transferred, when you transferred, what you most transferred here, sorting by date or by most transferred. Yeah, so we were talking about the imprint ICs and about complexes, for example. And some people create large complexes. We recommend to create complexes with up to 6 ICs, included ICs inside. It's not about whether water will be able to kind of get all that information, but for the person to process all that information. Because we know that for some people, like large complexes with 20, 30 ICs inside may be efficient and work for them. And for some people, like some people only need to use one, maybe IC without even a complex. So we always recommend to start from just single ICs, or if you create complex, have small complexes, like up to 6 ICs inside. Like here, for example, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one is wood complex. And later you can try like building larger complexes, maybe put in 10, 20, I don't know. But it's like an experiment, and it will be personalized for you, whether you will be able to, let's say, get benefits from that complex. Always start from smaller and then, increase complex. There's few ways how you can create complex, and for details, you can go in the help section, how to get started, and then watch this few minutes video, 5-minute video, because you can create just complex from scratch. You can, for example, copy this complex and make your own modification of this complex. Like there's many different ways to do it. And as I mentioned, yes, we have 3 different types. And when you create complex, I would recommend, if you create a complex for imprinting water, I would recommend to keep all ICs inside of the complex as imprint. You can also see here this like icon with this looking like a molecule. It's like here imprint. So all of this included ICs are imprint. And because technically we do not limit what you can put into complex. So you can put imprint ICs, Audible ICs, like make all this like very different complexes. But I would also recommend at least starting just from simple things. If you create imprint complex for transferring to water, put inside of your complex only imprint ICs. And also, when you transfer in the complex, you need to transfer it in the all-at-once mode, because in this way, all ICs will be transferred to water at the same time. If you click, for example, one by one, you can just in this way transfer one IC. So in this way, complex is considered as a playlist. So you can just create like a complex, not for intention to use it all together, but maybe you want to just use one IC. So you click transfer here, and only one IC will be transferred to your water. And this feature is more for PEMF ICs. We'll talk about the application soon. let's actually talk now about the application of PEMF ICs. In some way, it's a little bit simpler. You don't need to use water. You need just to have device, IC pad, IC hammer, or some of our future devices, and select IC or PEMF IC, then connect IC pad, IC hammer to your computer, set the volume level on your computer smartphone to maximum if you use an IC pad. This is important. Or if you use an IC hammer, set it to 80%, or you can also set it a little bit lower. If it's sound from IC hammer is too loud, you can set it lower to a comfortable level. Then you need to place IC pad or IC hammer on the target area of the body. If you're using IC maybe for the liver or for some kind of specific area of the body, apply device there. If you're pregnant, we do not recommend using IC pad to your stomach area, but you can still use imprint ICs with drinking water. But if you're pregnant, do not apply IC pad or IC hammer directly to the stomach area. And once you apply it to a specific spot, transfer it to the start transfer. So let's find in the catalog some PEMF IC. You can also click on the filter. There are 373 PEMF ICs and complexes. So for example, acute fracture can maybe apply to a leg, some injury. And then you click start transfer. And these ICs, they're usually long. You can also kind of set here different repeats if you would like just to run it for a few times, for longer. If you just want to run it forever, you just maybe want it to run for 8 hours, you can just click infinite here. If you need to change device, you can change device. Click start transfer and it will be transferring for that number of repeats. And PEMF ICs, again, you can include the complex also PEMF ICs. But we recommend to use, so for example, let me find complex with PEMF ICs. Like you can see here, it has this kind of icon. It included ICs also have that icon. So in this IC, you can also technically transfer them all at once. It's just 4 of them. But PEMF ICs, in some way, they are more, it's more like a technical thing. It's more difficult to generate. It also may depends on your computer or phone. And the best way to even start, it would be to use them one by one. Don't use them in the complex altogether, but just go to one of them and to just apply one PEMF IC to your body. So this is just a recommendation for beginners when you're just trying it for the best effect in the beginning. Try using them only as one IC, single IC. You can use it also in the complex, but not in the all at once mode, but in but one by one mode. So once I switch it to one by one mode, first it will be transferred the trauma IC. So I applied, for example, the IC hammer to my body to some specific area. I want to do a set of different ICs. So I transfer one IC, then another IC, then all these 4 ICs. Once the last finished, the whole complex is transferred. And later you can experiment, try maybe creating complex with 2 ICs, PEMF ICs, and transferring them in all at once mode, or even combining PEMF ICs with imprint ICs. This is, I would say, a next level. Imprint ICs also can be applied directly to the body, but based on our research, it seems not the best, the most effective way to apply imprint ICs. Imprint ICs should be applied through the water as a primary method, but they also can be applied directly to the body. because it's still electromagnetic signal. It still interacts with the body cells, etc. So yes, you can still apply it to the body directly, but also just start trying, like when you just starting, try using it through the water as recommended, and then you can just experiment, try different things, create like very different complexes, including print ICs, PEMF ICs inside, like all the different things. Yeah, try experimenting, because all this platform allows you to do that. We don't restrict what you can mix together, how long you can transfer it, like all this stuff. Yeah. And so yeah, this is about PEMF ICs. Let's go to this page. Also, it has some frequently asked questions you can go through. And the last method, we also shortly talk about it. It's Audible ICs. It's even simpler. You just need to use your headphones, or you can also use IC hammers because they emit acoustic waves. And simple way to use it as you would listen to your music. Just go on the Infopathy and then you can select Audible IC. Also, how you would maybe want to do, if you would like to do like headaches, you can see that you can go like from point of what you would like to use now. You would like to imprint water, or you can listen as a sound, or you can apply directly to the body. So then you would just kind of filter it by the method, or maybe you can just go through the definitions and you see, I would like this one. And then you see, yes, this one is imprint. So I will use this one, and I need like a bottle of water. Or if you want like specifically use PEMF, then you filter and just remove all the imprints, have only PEMFs, and select PEMF and use it. So it's different ways how would you kind of navigate and decide, kind of select what you would like to use. So I think this is pretty much like covers the different ICs, their application methods, also about functionality on the website. The main thing, like about the frequently asked question about the glowing IC pad, people sometimes forget to charge it, but it's need to be charged. Even this can work maybe 1 month or 2 months on one charge, depending on how much you use it. But you need to charge it. It has a USB port, and it will have USB cable to charge it. Also, the most very important to raise the volume to the maximum after you connect the IC pad to your computer, because sometimes computer audio level will go down after you connect the IC pads. So after you start transfer, just kind of double check on your computer that not only here, this by default is maximum, but in your computer settings, check that audio level at maximum. And again, always there's help section. You can also ask your questions, send us an email by clicking on contact us or here, or you can also ask questions in this form here. Also on each page of the specific IC complex, you have a comment section. You can ask your question there. And say enjoy, experiment, and we'll be happy like hearing from you if you have any questions, feedbacks. So we talked about this method, just going back to the presentation. Yeah, just thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you have the best health.
Thank you, Anton.
Thank you.
I think the viewers will find this very beneficial. It's a very good overview of the various devices, and you have offers a lot of helpful tips as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.